Hey, it's Dr. Ernst, host of the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Wow, we just went over 1,000 registered for this Saturday's masterclass, Heart Heal Thyself. Hey, we still have space. If you'd like to lower your blood pressure, lower your cholesterol, reset your triglycerides, or reset a palpitation or an arrhythmia, text the word HEART plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. The event is live. It's online. It's this Saturday at 10 a.m. and it's 100% free. Text the word HEART plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. At this event, I'm going to reveal how classic cardiology is missing the top 3 root causes of cardiovascular issues: neurological interference, leaky gut, heavy metal, and pesticide toxicities. When you address these 3, your heart can reset, your blood pressure can come down, your cholesterol can reset, and I would love to show you how to do it because it's all simple, easy, and free. Text the word HEART plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll see you online this Saturday at 10 a.m.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celient Sleep Recovery. Our Celient Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celient technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celient infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celient. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celient has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Get into bed to experience our smooth Celient Egyptian cotton blend sheets. Protect your mattress against the sands of time with our Celient mattress protectors. With our pillow protectors, you get the benefits of our recovery therapy. Explore new places and feel well rested throughout your journeys. Discover luxurious support that allows you to sleep in almost any position. Neck blankets are small and compact. You can bring them with you just about anywhere. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celient Sleep Recovery products today. Celient. Recycle your body's energy.
Beyond wine, we really care about health. The health of the planet and the health of each other. That's what inspired us to start this business. Our family of team members meets every morning for a group meditation, followed by an open gratitude session. We believe a sound mind with a focus on peace is the best instrument for change. Joint meditation is the cornerstone of our company culture, and it helps us remember what's important, spreading joy and love, just like our family growers. Our family is a collection of passionate, health-conscious individuals who love to laugh and enjoy each other's company. We eat seasonally, grow our own vegetables, cook together, and share wine. Our team is incredibly dedicated to our mission. Everything from sourcing the wines to answering service questions. Your natural wines are found and sourced around the world by our wine team. They taste every one, oversee their lab testing, and choose exactly which ones go in which box. If you order, your individual box will be packed by our incredibly hardworking fulfillment team. If you have any questions, your service requests will be handled by a wonderfully loving member experience family who only have one goal in mind: your 100% happiness. This video is put together by our talented media team, filmed and edited in-house, just like the rest of our artful media. From our unique creations to our printed lifestyle piece called A Matter of Taste. We put love into everything we do, and we hope to share it with you.
Hey, good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you get to be set free from your health problems. I'm your host, Dr. Ernst, and today we are exposing one of the most pervasive, silent, and destructive forces in modern health, chronically high levels of insulin. And here's the thing. Most people think insulin is just a diabetes hormone. But the truth is this: insulin dysfunction begins often decades before blood sugar issues show up, or even high blood A1C on lab tests. By the time your doctor says you're pre-diabetic, you're diabetic, the metabolic fire of the major cause has been raging for years. Functional medicine, as you guys know, sounds the alarm early. We need to pay attention to insulin, hyperinsulinemia, which is technically a diagnostic term for your insulin levels being higher than normal when fasting, is a metabolic root cause behind a host of things that people deal with in their health, including weight loss resistance or weight gain, obesity. Did you know it's connected to heart disease? In fact, we just did an entire masterclass. We had over 700 people online this morning learning how to heal their heart by reducing insulin, finally stepping away from cholesterol issues and triglycerides and looking to the root causes of their cardiovascular health issues. If you missed this morning's masterclass, man, I tell you, you've got a couple seconds. You can text the word heart plus your name and email right now. My team will send you the replay. We just did it this morning. It was phenomenal. Loads of people breaking free from high blood pressure, cholesterol, triglyceride issues, palpitations, arrhythmias. If you want to watch the masterclass replay, text your name and email right now to 704-906-2094. We'll open it up for the next 2 days so you can watch exactly how to lower blood pressure, to lower your cholesterol, to get rid of an arrhythmia, palpitation, all naturally. All the resources are in that masterclass. It's free and available to you right now as a replay. So again, text the word replay plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. So does insulin make us have heart disease? Yes. Chronic fatigue? Yes. Hormone imbalance? Yes. Brain fog? And here's the crazy thing. I'm going to show you some research today that links high levels of insulin to your increased likelihood of even having cancer. So it's a silent driver for a lot of the conditions we deal with today. Yet, most conventional physicians never test fasting insulin. They'll measure your glucose, they'll measure your A1C, but rarely will you ever have someone look at fasting insulin. That one test is the very test that predicts diseases of years ahead of you in the future. What should fasting insulin be? Less than 5. So if you're looking at an 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 19, 20, the higher the number, the more likely you are to have a hidden health issue that in the future is going to be blamed on something like your genetics or your diet. So here's the reality, guys. You may have normal blood sugar. You may have perfect A1C, and your doctor's telling you things like you don't have diabetes, you don't have to worry about it, but you may actually have sky-high insulin. In fact, a lot of healthy people walking around today, even those that are fit and active and eat clean, healthy foods, are living in a constant state of high insulin without even knowing it. This insulin state, elevated insulin, blocks fat burning, accelerates aging, fuels inflammation, and disrupts nearly every cellular function in your body. So today, what I'm going to do on this episode of the Ask Dr. Ernst Show is give you 10 scientific research-backed ways that insulin is destroying your health and how you can reverse that so you don't end up with these 10 issues. We're not using prescriptive drugs. We're not using procedures. We're just going to reset your metabolism from the inside out. Because when you lower insulin, your body does one thing. It starts to heal. And if you are someone listening today and you're like, I have diabetes, I have high A1C, I need to get out of this trap, now's the time to text your name and your email plus the word diabetes so I can shoot you over the upgraded, newest Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook and get you registered for our next masterclass. We just did one today. Hundreds of people online. So 4 weeks from today, Saturday, November 15th, I'm going to host one on destroying insulin, destroying type 2 diabetes, destroying weight loss resistance. We'll call it a metabolic makeover. Just simply text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Boom, the ebook is yours free. The masterclass on Saturday, the 15th is free. And I urge you, if you've never been on one of our masterclasses, they are transformational. I custom create them specific to each of you registered. We've developed the topics of conversation based on what you guys want. How do I break free? We just did it today from high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, arrhythmias, palpitations. So if you want to get your weight off, if you want to get your blood sugars under control, if you want to never have to inject insulin or deal with all these GLP-1 peptides that are very dangerous, text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. And again, ebook is yours, masterclass on the 15th of November. This is early registration time, so let's do it now. So what are we going to do today? We're going to go deep, not just explaining why insulin does to your body, but how things go wrong and how it traps you into metabolic chaos and how you can free yourself. So grab a notepad. This is going to shake the foundation of everything you've ever been told about weight loss, about blood pressure issues, about your energy, because it's more than just looking at sugars. It's about looking at insulin. And here's reason number one. Insulin locks your body in a state of fat storage. So you have two main fuel sources that you can use for energy: sugar, glucose, and fat. Insulin is the switch that determines which one of these do you use for energy. So when insulin is high, your body switches into what's called storage mode. So your cells take glucose out of the blood and your liver makes fat. And your body stores this fat for energy instead of burning it. But when your insulin levels are low, your body says, hey, I need to be burning. I need to be releasing energy. So those fat cells that you've been holding on to, they release energy, and your mitochondria convert that into power. So you feel energized. So chronically high insulin, what it does is it makes you get stuck in the fat storage state. This is why like 90% of people struggle to lose weight even when they eat well and exercise. It's like working against your own biochemistry. You can't burn fat in the presence of insulin metabolically. It just doesn't work. It's like driving while pressing on the brake. You guys understand? You can't move forward if you've got your foot on the brake. So in functional medicine, the key is to not focus on calories and diet. It's to focus on how do we control insulin. So listen to this. A 2018 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that elevated fasting insulin, even in non-diabetics, predicted your future weight gain better than your diet and your activity. So the translation, your hormones, not your willpower to stick to a routine, is what determines your body's composition and weight. So insulin stimulates what's called lipoprotein lipase, an enzyme that locks triglycerides inside of your fat cells. So even if you go on a run or you skip breakfast, lunch, or dinner, your fat cells physically can't release energy because insulin's holding it back. So this is why we feel tired and hungry and frustrated. Then we crave all these carbs because your body's demanding a quick fix. So this is the map, guys. This is the problem. More carb consumption leads to higher insulin. Higher insulin leads to more fat storage. More fat storage leads to even more insulin resistance, and it's a trap. And if you're chasing just glucose and A1C, you'll never get out of it. So what we do is we teach you this idea that you must break this by fasting. Reducing your carbohydrate intake, following more of a ketovoric or carnivoric diet, giving your body basically nothing but fats and proteins for food, and skipping a meal or two to let your insulin levels come down. And when you do that, you start losing weight. Okay, reason number two, insulin triggers systemic inflammation. And it doesn't just store fat. It ignites an inflammatory cascade in your body. Now, I'm going to use some phrases. They're a little tough, but you guys can do this. High levels of insulin will activate what's called NF-kappa B. It's a transcription factor that lets your body release inflammatory cytokines. So you have IL-6, interleukin-6, or tumor necrosis factor alpha. Again, I know they're tough words, but get this. Those two molecules are like pouring gasoline on a fire. If IL-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha go up, there's damage to blood vessels, to your joints, to your organs. It lays the groundwork for almost all known chronic inflammatory disease. So this is why insulin resistance, where your body can't use insulin, is a driving engine of inflammation. So in the study, Diabetes Care, they demonstrated that individuals with high levels of fasting insulin also had high levels of C-reactive protein, which is a major inflammatory marker in your cardiovascular system. The inflammation leads to oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, even aging of your cells. Your cells age faster. So the kicker here is inflammation also worsens insulin resistance, causing a self-perpetuating cycle. The higher your insulin goes, the more your inflammation goes up, and the more it spreads, which causes cellular breakdown. It can lead to arthritis and cardiovascular disease, even depression, weight loss resistance. So if you're someone listening and you're like, man, I'm tired all the time, my joints ache, my blood pressure's going up, my weight's going up, it's time to stop blaming genetics and your diet and start looking at your insulin levels. Again, when insulin drops, inflammation disappears. I have seen patients lower C-reactive protein as much as 80% within just a matter of months. There's no medications required. You can't out-supplement inflammation if your insulin is high. That's why a lot of healthy eaters who snack on healthy foods will still feel inflamed or still have that weight they can't lose around their abdomen, and they get so frustrated. I'm doing everything right. So remember, inflammation is not random. It's a result of biochemical reactions, typically because of your insulin being too high. The third reason insulin is something you need to pay attention to is it's known to physically damage arteries and affect your heart health. We talked about this mostly during our masterclass this morning. Cardiologists for years have blamed cholesterol for heart disease, but the real culprit behind the plaquing and the sclerosis and the stiffness of your arteries is insulin. Chronically high insulin stiffens blood vessels. There's the atherosclerosis. It increases the vascular growth of the muscles, which shortens the inner diameter of your blood vessels, aka it makes your blood pressure go up. It oxidizes LDLs, which turns them from their harmless, healthy transporters into inflammatory particles. So insulin causes sodium to be retained, which makes your blood pressure go up. This is why hypertension is almost always present in people that are diabetic. It's not because of salt, but it's because insulin tells your kidneys, hold on to sodium. So the increased blood volume, the arterial pressure, it's an extra strain on your heart. Listen to this study in the journal Lancet. They showed that individuals with high fasting levels had 2 times the risk of having a heart attack, even if their cholesterol was perfect. So do you guys see this? Your level of insulin in your blood tells us so much more about your cardiovascular health than does your cholesterol. So let that sink in. Cholesterol isn't the predictor of your cardiovascular disease. It's insulin. And the crazy thing is, most of you have never had a very simple insulin fasting test done, which gives you so much information about what's going on and what to do. Did you know that insulin also triggers your liver to produce a very dangerous cholesterol that your doctors typically don't look at, called VLDL? It is a very low density lipoprotein. It's like a very dense version of LDL cholesterol. It is by far the most dangerous. It's the dense, real tiny particles that get inside the arteries and cause a plaque. And here's the challenge. If you don't check for it, you never know this is happening. It's a complete inversion of the idea that LDL cholesterol alone causes cardiovascular disease. Conventional cardiology today still hands out statins and low-fat diets to try to solve this. But here's the problem. Statins raise insulin. Low-fat diets raise insulin, thus worsening the underlying cardiovascular issues, which is why so many patients who still take these medications end up with cardiovascular health issues or heart attacks. So again, the idea is about reducing insulin. And the easiest way to do that is to begin to fast, cut out carbohydrates from your diet, eat really clean proteins, and a high-fat, healthy diet. Heart disease is not a cholesterol problem, guys. It's an insulin problem disguised. Insulin is what you need to focus on. So it affects our heart. And reason number 4, insulin creates what's called leptin resistance. This is huge. If you're someone who's going like, I've tried everything and I can't lose weight. In fact, I started dieting, I started exercising, and I'm gaining weight. You must pay attention to the hormone leptin. Leptin is your body's hormone that tells you, I am full. It's secreted by fat cells, and it tells your brain, stop eating. But here's the issue with high insulin. Insulin blunts leptin, meaning it blocks the ability for leptin to send a signal, which causes leptin resistance. So your brain no longer hears the message that you have had enough. So what happens is we constantly need to keep eating. This explains why insulin resistance and diabetes often go hand in hand. The higher your insulin, the less your brain listens to leptin. And so you feel hungry all the time. And again, it's not willpower. It's just a hijacked signal in your brain. You're being biochemically driven to overeat. And I'll prove it to you. In 2019, the journal Neuroendocrinology published studies showing that elevated insulin stops the leptin receptor from working in the hypothalamus, which is where your brain gets the signal that you need to stop eating. So high levels of insulin rewires your appetite, and it makes you want to eat food all the time. And trust me when I say, I know what you guys are talking about. Like, I know what this is. You eat a decent meal, and then like 10 minutes later, you're like, I'm still hungry. And you eat more, and I'm still hungry. When your brain is no longer detecting leptin, it literally thinks you're starving. Even if your fat cells are overflowing and they're all over your body. It ramps hunger hormones, so ghrelin starts coming out, makes your stomach growl, and it reduces your energy expenditure. So your body slows down its metabolism, and you start to crave starches and sugars. And this is what I call the starvation paradox. People gain weight while their cells are physically starving for food. So functional medicine sees a solution. The issue isn't that it's a lack of food, it's a lack of access to the fuel you need in your body. So what is the solution again? Fasting is by far the best way to lower insulin. If you were to take a day without eating any food, your insulin levels will start coming down. If you were to do 2 or 3 or 4, you can physically break the resistance and your body will start liberating what it's storing. You can start losing weight naturally. This is why so many patients say fasting flipped a switch in their hunger. I'm no longer hungry all the time. I don't have to eat a ton of food to feel full anymore. It's because they broke the leptin insulin chain, and now they're no longer trapped with cravings. Reason number 5, insulin disrupts global hormone balance. It doesn't just work in isolation, okay? We've been taught, at least most people think, insulin only affects your blood sugar. But chronically high insulin will throw off estrogen and progesterone and testosterone and even cortisol. In women, high levels of insulin can show up as PCOS or irregular cycles or infertility or mood swings. In men, it's almost always, it drops testosterone, causes massive amounts of fatigue, and we start losing muscle mass. So we can't retain the muscle. Research in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology shows that high levels of insulin will stimulate the cells of female ovaries to produce excess testosterone. It suppresses what's called sex hormone binding globulin, and it leads to an estrogen dominance. In men, it suppresses testicular function and converts testosterone into estrogen through a process known as aromatization. What does this translate to? The reason so many men have low T is because insulin is turning on an enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen for men. And guess what high estrogen does for men? Weight gain, depression, thyroid dysfunction. It remains the same for most people. High levels of insulin will shut off hormone productivity And many times, both men and women start getting told you have to do bioidentical hormones. We have to work on antidepressants. We have to look at your thyroid because all the other hormones become affected. So in functional medicine, we want to look at it this way. If insulin is the root cause and it makes your body store fat, wrecks your hormones, irritates your mood, changes your libido, then you can turn this around naturally. Insulin goes up when cortisol goes up, which is a stress hormone. So cortisol elevations make your insulin go up. One of the fastest ways to reset cortisol and insulin is with fasting. I kid you not. Giving your body just a moment where you're not digesting or eating food is the quickest way for your insulin and cortisol levels to come down. Both of these reduce insulin and support your adrenal gland and even can help your thyroid. If you wanted to assist this process, take some magnesium glycinate, use some zinc, take omega-3 fatty acids, fish oils. All of these help with lowering insulin while fasting. So remember, hormone imbalance is not the primary issue. It's the symptom of insulin dominance. Both insulin and every single hormone in your body can fall back in line when you start giving your body a break from eating food. And look at the powerful information we just covered so far. We've uncovered how insulin will silently lock your body into a state of fat storage. We talked about how it fuels inflammation. It makes your joints ache. It makes your body inflamed. It makes you retain fluids. It stiffens your arteries. It destroys the ability for you to feel full, so it makes you hungry all the time. And it disrupts hormone imbalance. So can you see why simply saying I'm cutting carbohydrates isn't enough? Insulin, not sugar, is the real metabolic villain. So the hidden switch that determines whether your body's burning fat or storing fat is how you control your insulin. So if your energy is crashing and your weight won't budge or your labs look normal and you feel far off from healthy, it's time to look beyond just a sugar test and start investigating your insulin. I would highly recommend you download the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. It shows you how to get the right tests. It walks you through protocols on lowering insulin. It gives you the diet and the detox and everything you need, and it's absolutely free. Just simply text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. We'll send the ebook to you now. You can get registered for my masterclass, which is on Saturday, November 15th. And in the next segment, when I come back from this commercial break, we're going to go into the deeper consequences, how it literally elevates your aging. Insulin makes you age faster. It shuts down your detoxification processes. It feeds cancer, and it can physically starve your brain of the nutrients and the oxygen it needs. So what we'll do is we'll connect all the dots, insulin and chronic disease. And again, we're going to help you through some functional strategies on how you can begin right now by lowering insulin and engaging your body's natural ability to heal itself. Step number 1 to doing that, download the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. All the protocols, the diet tips, even the supplements you need to help lower your insulin are all here free for you. 704-906-2094. Text your name, your email, and the word diabetes to 704-906-2094. Don't go away. Make sure you grab a pen, refill your coffee or tea, and get ready. What's coming next is going to add years to your life. It's going to help your brain to be focused. It's going to prevent chronic illness and disease, because once you understand how insulin is a controller of every major system in your body, you will physically hold the key to reversing chronic conditions. Hey, this is Dr. Ernst with the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We're going to expose the truth about what's causing health issues and show you how to heal yourself when I come back from this commercial break. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet. More antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
And what if we told you that the health benefits of coffee could actually be increased through conscious roasting, sourcing, and processing? Introducing Purity, a health-conscious coffee company. At Purity, we've brought together a world-class team to analyze every step in the production chain from cherry to cup. We make decisions with only one thing in mind: how can we make the healthiest coffee in the world? Here's our 3-step process. Step 1, we search the world for the highest quality organic green beans that meet our exacting standards. Way less than 1% of coffee worldwide fit our sourcing criteria. Step 2, we test, and test again to create a specific roasting protocol for each harvest that maximizes healthy compounds and minimizes toxins. Step 3, we nitrogen pack our coffee within 48 hours of roasting and deliver to your door every 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. The result is the ultimate coffee drinking experience. You'll not only taste the difference in our clean, healthy coffee, with Purity, you'll feel the difference.
Our coffee club members report a bright, alert lift with less jitters than regular coffee and much more gentle on the stomach.
Sign up for Purity today, and you'll never have to worry about your source for healthy coffee again.
Wine is a fermented beverage that has been enjoyed by humanity for over 8,000 years. Our ancestors believed in its magical healing powers. Wine has been a well-studied part of our history, but recently it's changed. The wines sold today in most stores and restaurants are not the same wines enjoyed by our ancestors. Today, wine is a highly processed, factory-made product filled with toxins and industrial additives. The grapes are farmed with machines and heavy pesticide use, and the marketing is misleading and dishonest. Wines free from this human intervention still exist. They're called natural wines. These wines are a return to the old way of making and enjoying wine. Free from commercial additives, high sugar, and heavy alcohol content, these wines are a beautiful expression of nature. They're also extremely rare. Less than 1% of the world's wines are grown to this standard. They are made in hyper-small quantities by family farmers who work by hand using ancient practices. This is the kind of wine that derive from wine sources. We search the globe looking for pure natural wines, carefully nurtured by family growers who work with nature, and we take it a step further, sourcing wines that meet our strict criteria for farming, purity, and taste. We only work with organically grown wines, farmed without irrigation and without heavy machinery. Grapes are hand-picked and then fermented using native wild yeast, not the industry standard GMO yeasts. Our wines are pure, lab-tested by an independent enologist for metrics including alcohol and sugar. They also taste extraordinary, bright, fresh, and full of life. They jump out of the glass because they aren't sterilized or heavily processed.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you get to be set free from your health problems. I'm your host, Dr. Ernst, and if you're just joining us, we've been exposing the silent biochemical assassin that's behind obesity, inflammation, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, fatigue, chronically high insulin. In segment 1, we unpacked the first 5 ways that insulin wrecks your health. It locks you in fat storage mode. You physically will not be able to burn fat if your insulin levels are high. Number 2, it fuels inflammation. It makes your joints ache. It makes your body inflamed. It can lead to elevations in cardiovascular issues and things to that effect. It damages your arteries directly, causing microscopic irritations, which leads to arterial stiffness and even plaque formation, because it elevates one of the most dangerous versions of LDL cholesterol called VLDL. It hijacks your hunger. It's going to make you hungry all the time. It blocks leptin, so your brain cannot hear the signal, I am full. And it stimulates ghrelin, which is a hormone that says, I am hungry. So high levels of insulin, you're going to be hungry all the time. And what it does is it disrupts all hormones. It interferes with cortisol and insulin. And guess what? It interferes with testosterone and estrogen and progesterone, which is why so many of us are achy, tired, fatigued. Our joints are falling apart. Our bones are getting weak. We could trace it all back to a singular hormone imbalance, insulin. So if you missed the first half of that, take a moment and text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. I'm giving away a Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. Inside this ebook, every single thing you need to begin lowering your A1C, lowering your sugars, lowering your insulin. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. And allowing your body to reset itself so that these 10 health effects don't become a thing of your health. Now, in segment 2, we're going to go even deeper into the biochemical effects of how high insulin is something that doctors rarely ever talk about. We're going to talk right now about how it makes you age faster, how it blocks your body's detox pathways, how it can actually feed cancer cell growth, and how it starves your brain, leading to something called cognitive decline. Finally, we're going to connect the dots and show you how high insulin is the common denominator behind most chronic health issues and how you can begin to fix it right now. So again, if you want the information spelled out directly to you, text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. The ebook, Diabetes Heal Thyself, is yours free. And I'm hosting a masterclass Saturday, November 15th. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning, and I will show you exactly how to combat this issue of high insulin so you can age well, feel better, lose weight, get your energy back, and watch this. If you're a diabetic, how you can break out of type 2 diabetes in as little as 90 days. So if you think insulin is only for diabetics, think again. Research shows that even mild elevations, fasting insulin levels over 5 or 6, doubles your risk for Alzheimer's, triples your risk for heart disease, and it accelerates your aging. The most challenging issue is, I can pretty much guarantee you, you have never had fasting insulin levels checked. This is why functional medicine exists. We like to look upstream. We like to find the root cause and empower you to take care of your health naturally. So what we're going to do right now is discuss issue number 6 with elevated insulin. It makes you age faster. Guys, this is what's known as the glycation effect. When insulin levels stay elevated, sugar molecules that are flowing around your blood, they start to bind to proteins and fats and even your DNA through a process known as glycation. It's a fancy term to say that if sugar attaches itself to something, that thing has been glycated, sugar attached to it. So if we have proteins with sugar attached, or we have fats with sugar attached, or we have DNA with sugar attached, those have become glycated. And there's what is known as an advanced glycation end product, or an AGE, an AGE. It's an acronym. It literally means the more of these you have, the faster you age. Glycation stiffens tissues. It makes wrinkles appear in your skin. It's what causes your lenses in your eyes to become fuzzy and cloudy and leads to cataracts. It destroys collagen. It breaks down elastin. Think of it as like caramelizing you from the inside out. Every wrinkle, every age spot, every stiff joint tells a biochemical story. Your body has been burning glucose in the presence of insulin for too long, and the byproduct are these advanced glycosylation end products or sugar-based proteins. Studies in the Journal of Gerontology show that individuals with high levels of fasting had more advanced skin aging and organ decline than people who didn't have high levels of insulin. That alone right there should make you go, I want to learn everything I can about lowering my insulin so I can live a longer, healthier, more productive life. Glycation also damages nerve endings and blood vessels, which is why nearly all diabetics end up with some kind of neuropathy or kidney disease or even blindness. But here's the truth. You don't have to be diabetic to also have this happen, because a diabetic diagnosis is just based off of fasting sugars and A1C. Those could be normal, but your insulin can still be high. The conventional approach, a lot of times people just blame this effect on you're getting older. And if you've heard of this, right, often people say, my joints are stiff, my back is aching, my skin is starting to wrinkle, I'm just getting older. The grays are showing up more. No, it's the fact that you're glycosylating yourself faster. By lowering insulin, you can stabilize sugars and you can actually reverse these signs of biological aging. Intermittent fasting paired with a ketogenic diet, so that's high fat, moderate protein, low carb, can drastically reduce these glycation end products. And lowering insulin also then makes your body start burning fat for energy, which produces less free radicals. This is why fasting isn't just a way to lose weight, it's a way to change your cellular aging response. Listen, in my clinic, I've seen people go through an intermittent fasting program with detoxification and literally look 5 to 10 years younger in 5 to 6 months, have cleaner skin, regain the elasticity because they repair their insulin sensitivity. Collagen can actually start to come back. So think about this, ladies and guys, no more injections to make your skin tight, no more serums that cost hundreds of dollars. The next time you think wrinkles and stiffness are just a sign of old aging, remember this, it's a sign your insulin levels are climbing. And if you address it, your body heals by itself and you can de-age. How cool is that? I've got an entire anti-aging protocol inside the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook, yours free now. Text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. Is insulin connected to sugars? Yes. Is that why we're calling it Diabetes Heal Thyself? Yes. But the issue is, guys, 2 out of 3 Americans, when tested in my clinic, so those thousands of people that come into our clinic, 2 out of 3 of them have elevated insulin levels, which is an indication of a metabolic disarray already happening. So if you want to learn how to lower your insulin and burn fat and bring your sugars and your A1Cs back to normal, get your brain focused and attentive, and help your body to anti-age and reset, Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook will show you the steps to do that. You've heard about fasting, you've heard about keto diet, so it's inside the ebook, all free for you. Text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. And again, remember, Saturday, November 15th, our next masterclass, I'm going to show you the testing you can get. Super easy to do this. And some protocols you can implement so you can start getting your health back. Lower your blood pressure, start changing your blood sugars, start losing weight, start getting your energy back, start de-aging. All of it's possible and it's free. Okay, reason number 7, that insulin is something you need to pay attention to. Insulin shuts off the ability for you to detox, and it affects your liver's health. I'm sure you know this. Your liver is your primary detox organ, but higher levels of insulin shuts down the effectiveness of your liver. Insulin resistance causes fatty liver. It is known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and right now, 3 out of 10 Americans are currently diagnosed with fatty liver disease. That's insane. It's not from drinking alcohol. It is because you have high levels of insulin in your body. When your liver becomes fatty, it can no longer efficiently filter toxins, metabolize hormones, or even produce bile, which is the very fluid that carries all this toxic waste out of you through your liver. So your bile starts to back up in the liver. That creates what's known as a toxic liver. It can lead to estrogen dominance, brain fog, and even sluggish digestion. High insulin also inhibits glutathione production. Glutathione is your master antioxidant. I want you to think of it as like soap. It cleans your tissues out. In 2020, the study Hepatology, which is the study of liver, showed individuals with high levels of insulin had a 40% reduction in the ability to make and produce glutathione compared to people that had normal insulin levels. Guys, did you just hear that? 40%. What does this mean? Those individuals with high insulin cannot neutralize toxins. They can't get rid of pesticides from their diet. They can't detox heavy metals. So their detox pathways are shutting down. Meanwhile, conventional medicine will say, whoops, your cholesterol is high. Whoops, your A1C is high. And they'll start throwing medications. And unfortunately, both statins and diabetic medications often can make the liver fatty in the first place again, so it only worsens insulin resistance. It's kind of like a pharmaceutical paradox if you think about it. You treat a metabolic disease with a chemical that is a toxin, and the liver itself is having a hard time clearing toxins, so it only makes the issue worse. The more toxic your liver, the more your liver has to store fat to hold those toxins because it can't get rid of them, and the fatty liver nature starts to climb. I'm going to term this functional detoxification. It starts by doing this: fasting. Lower your insulin levels. Bring your body into a state where it is forced by producing ketone bodies to burn the fat out of your cells and out of your liver. Start eating higher quality clean proteins: fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, grass-fed red meats. Focusing on proteins, green vegetables, healthy healing fats, avocado oils, coconut oils, olive oils, healthy nuts and seeds. When you do this, insulin levels start to come down. The fat inside your liver starts to melt. Bile flow productivity goes up and your cholesterol can start coming down. Glutathione production can start to skyrocket. And if you add sulfur-rich foods, or you take the most important nutrient for your liver, N-acetylcysteine, what's known as NAC, you can help to drive the glutathione levels up, and your body will start to clean itself out. Remember, your liver doesn't just shut down overnight. It's usually been strangled, if you will, by insulin for so long that it starts to build up into its decay phase. So when you free your liver, it becomes one of the fastest healing organs in the body. It can regenerate. Within weeks, you can see liver enzymes start to change, brain fog can start to clear, clarity starts coming back to your life. You can't detox when your insulin is high. Again, it's like trying to drive a car by pushing on the gas, but you're also pushing on the brake. It's just not going to go anywhere. So one step of true detoxification is to start addressing your insulin levels, which begins by decreasing your carbohydrate content, bumping your protein levels up, bumping your healthy fats up, and fasting. Okay, issue number 8. This one is a shocker, and I brought a couple research articles just to kind of hammer this point home. Unfortunately, high levels of insulin is known to feed any potential cancer cells that are in your body. Insulin is not just a storage hormone. It is a growth hormone. Chronically high levels of insulin often partners with a protein called insulin-like growth factor, or IGF-1. This acts as an accelerator for cancer cells to proliferate. Here's the truth that we know. Cancer cells love sugar. In fact, I've seen some studies showing that cancer cells have as many as 30 times more sugar receptors on their cells than the healthy cells of your body. Why is that important? Because sugar will go into the cancer cell faster if it has more insulin receptors than into your healthy cells. And we know sugar metabolizes in a non-oxygenated state. It becomes fermented inside of a cancer cell. Cancer loves sugar, and it thrives in a very high insulin environment. A study in the journal Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention found that individuals with high levels of fasting insulin, you ready for this, had twice the risk of developing cancer of the colon, the pancreas, and the breast. Guys, that is a shock. 2 times more likely to have breast, pancreatic, or colon cancer if your insulin levels are above 6. Why? Insulin signals cells grow and divide, which is exactly what cancer wants to do, right? It wants to grow and divide. Insulin suppresses apoptosis. It's the natural process of your cells destroying themselves. So older, damaged precancerous cells, which should die, don't, and they stick around for long periods of time, and it can lead to mutations. The longer insulin remains elevated, the longer these older sort of necrotic cells can still have time to replicate and produce. Meanwhile, traditionally, oncological types of cancer therapies are focusing on trying to kill the cancer cells themselves with radiation and chemotherapy. Can that work? Yes. But functional medicine often wants to look upstream and say, wait a second, did the environment of your body allow those cells to be there and thrive in the first place? Lowering insulin through fasting and carb restrictions can actually change cancer outlooks. A 2019 study in the journal Nature Communications confirms that fasting and lowering your insulin stimulates what's called a natural killer cell, which is the cell in your body that can navigate around and kill cancer cells. If you can turn on natural killer cells, you are actually going around cleaning cancer cells out of your body. This is why, if you've heard of this, a lot of integrative oncologists will pair the traditional therapies with metabolic therapies like ketogenic dieting or fasting in addition to doing classic oncological therapies, because lowering insulin makes cancer cells more vulnerable and thus more likely to be attacked. So if cancer is the uncontrolled growth of damaged cells, then insulin is like the fertilizer for that. So if you pull the fertilizer, guess what? You can choke them out. And there's a lot of research behind this. If you're interested in going deeper into this, look into the studies that are done by Dr. Thomas Seyfried of Boston University. He has a tremendous amount of information about cancer as a metabolic disease. Just go to Google, type in cancer as metabolic disease, Dr. Thomas Seyfried, and be ready to sit back and be shocked at how that gentleman, that PhD doctor, is showing that if you lower your insulin, you can control the ability for your body to kill cancer cells naturally. Okay, reason number 9. Insulin damages our brains and causes cognitive decline. Hey, if you're somebody online today listening, or you're on the airways and you're going like, yep, that's me. I'm forgetting things left and right. I'm having brain fog. I just don't feel like I'm focused and energetic. I would highly implore you to take a moment and get the ebook, Diabetes Heal Thyself. But Dr. Ernst, I don't have diabetes. Well, we're not talking about A1C and glucose. We're talking about insulin's effect on your sugars. Why is it a diabetic conversation? Because every single diabetic that's type 2 diabetic has high insulin, and they need to address that. You might not be diagnosed as a diabetic, but if your insulin is high, it can affect you in all of these ways. Grab the ebook right now, text your name, your email, and the word diabetes to 704-906-2094. I'll send you the ebook today. And again, the masterclass, Solving Insulin Resistance, dealing with your weight, your blood pressure, your cholesterols, your A1Cs, your energy, all of it is on Saturday, November 15th. It's at 10 a.m. in the morning. Again, text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094, and we'll send the free information over to you so you can start conquering your health the natural way. Number 9, we talked about this just briefly. Insulin can damage your brain and cause cognitive decline. Did you know that your brain depends on insulin to transport glucose directly into your brain cells? So when insulin resistance develops, The brain physically becomes starved of energy, and this condition is now called type 3 diabetes. It is recognized as the major player behind Alzheimer's and dementia. Listen to this. The Journal of Alzheimer's Disease shows that people with elevating fasting insulin, ready for this? A 70% increased risk of cognitive decline. 70%, guys, that is exorbitantly high. So if your insulin is high, it says you're going to lose brain functionality over time. The metabolic pattern of this is the same thing that causes the issues with our fat in our body. The same patterns that cause belly fat are the same patterns that make your brain shrink in the first place. High insulin inflames the brain, increases amyloid plaque formation, and decreases brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's what we need for nerve cell growth. So over time, our sharpness fades, depression can set in, focus evaporates. This is what you would term cellular aging. And in functional medicine, the key is getting your body to produce ketones, which is the alternative, cleaner fuel source for your brain. Ketogenic diets, fastings, MCT oils, coconut oils, all of this has been therapeutically used for Alzheimer's and epilepsy and even depression. There was a study in the journal Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience that shows if you are on a low insulin diet, fasting, you regained cognitive function, improved memory, and even increased alertness within just weeks. So we have the challenge that it affects our brain. And then number 10, we have the challenge that it causes the perfect storm for chronic disease. At the end of the day, high insulin is just the root. The problem is it spreads over to diabetes and hypertension and heart disease and cancer and dementia and autoimmune disorders. All of these can be traced back to high insulin. Insulin is, in my opinion, is the unifier of modern disease. It links metabolic, cardiovascular, neurological, and endocrine disorders into one singular system. This is why we don't look at those as the cause. We look at the metabolic challenge as the cause. If you fix your insulin levels, your body will start to heal. And remember, the human body was designed for periods of you not eating food, feasting and famining, resting and digesting. The challenge today is we have food everywhere. Constant eating, processed carbohydrates, and stress can keep your elevations of insulin 24/7. We've most of the time removed fasting from our daily rhythms. And in doing so, we remove a basic biological regenerator. When insulin is high, every healing system in your body shuts down. Did you know that stem cells actually don't activate if insulin is high? Did you know that autophagy, the process of killing damaged cells, is shut off when insulin is high? You lose the ability to produce energy. But watch this, when insulin drops, the opposite happens. Your cells start to ignite, stem cells turn on, inflammation cools down, regeneration begins. You don't have to live a sick life. You don't have to manage disease. You can literally heal, and it starts by mastering your insulin. So let's recap this. High insulin locks you in fat storage, drives your inflammation, damages your arteries, disrupts your hormones, accelerates your aging, clogs your liver. It can fuel cancer, starves your brain, and it is the concept behind every chronic disease that most people are dealing with today. The solution is not in another pill or an injection. It's found in just resting your metabolism. Start by doing this. Download the Diabetes Heal Thyself ebook. I have an entire guide in here on how you can begin an insulin-lowering, sugar-lowering, A1C correcting program. So if you're a type 2 diabetic, you better be texting in because this is going to help you get out of diabetes. If you have high blood pressure, if you need to lose weight, if you need to get your brain back and your energy back, the same approach will help you to do that. I would encourage that you start intermittent fasting. The details are in the ebook. I would encourage you start cutting your carbohydrate consumption, not your calories, but your carbs down to as close to zero as you can, elevating your proteins and your fats, and prioritizing the fact that your body has a healing regeneration power inside of it. You just need to remove the interference. And for a lot of you listening today, high insulin can be the culprit and the interference with that. Again, text the word diabetes plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. I'll shoot you the ebook, which summarizes what we talked about today, and I'll get you registered for the masterclass on Saturday, November 15th. Thanks for tuning in today. We're starting a series for the next 4 weeks or so on sugars, A1C, triglycerides, the metabolic syndromes that we deal with. We're going to help you lose weight, feel great, and get your energy back. Stick around each Saturday, 3 p.m., News Talk 1110 WBT. We'll see you guys next week. Be blessed. Bye-bye.